Welcome to another episode of Lowcountry Law on Air. I'm Bob Bromage. I'm the Public Information Officer for the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office. Before we get started on tonight's show, I'd like to, on behalf of Sheriff P.J. Tanner and the men and women of the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office, would like to extend our appreciation for all the cooperation and consideration that our community has shown during the COVID-19 pandemic. And our thoughts and prayers go out to the families that have been deeply impacted by this virus. On tonight's episode, we'll be having a conversation with Liz Farrell, who after a lengthy career in journalism on a local level with the Island Packet, Beaufort Gazette, decided to join the Sheriff's Office as the new Assistant Public Information Officer. And we're also going to have a discussion with Staff Sergeant Calendine from Criminal Investigations of the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office to discuss scams. And we'll wrap up tonight's episode with Halloween safety tips from the Centers for Disease Control. With that said, welcome aboard, Liz Farrell, and tell us about yourself.
Thank you. I've always wanted to be on this show.
Liar.
I, as you said, I had a long career in journalism. I started at the Gettysburg Times in Pennsylvania, went on to the Frederick News Post, and that is right outside D.C. And then actually yesterday would have been my 17th year with the Island Packet had I stayed, but I'm here with you guys now, so.
Okay, tell us about your journalism career. What kind of stories and columns did you write? Because you are well known in Beaufort County. I mean, people see you, hey Liz, how you doing?
Yeah.
And some don't even know you left the Island Packet at this point.
No, that's actually, yeah, that's true. Things have been so chaotic, I think, since COVID-19 started, that, yeah, it's hard to catch up, right? So the stories I like to tell are the ones that sort of connect people to the community. And I think a good example of that, you know, we talk about my history with journalism, but our history, I think a lot of people don't know how journalists and public information officers work behind the scenes and how that's a relationship that's symbiotic and becomes quite important to getting the message out. So we worked really closely together on a 6-part project that I did. And that was about the cold case that you had solved 2016. And I went through, sort of shadowed you, I shadowed the solicitor's office as well, and I got to know the victims in that case very well and did a lot of history, a lot of research on the background of what Beaufort was like at the time. And that was the 1980 murder of David Krolowitz and the rape of his teenage girlfriend. And the man who was responsible for that is in prison now. So,
right.
Yeah, so the stories that I like to tell basically have a background. So I like people to know something new about the place they live that they didn't know before. And I think, you know, while that story was, you know, you could look at it as like true crime genre, I guess, it had a lot of information about this community that people didn't know, and I really liked hearing that.
Yeah, it was a very interesting piece.
Yeah.
So, have you wanted to be part of a government public information machine at any point in your career?
I have, yes. Well, actually, so I started off my career wanting to be in the FBI. So this is sort of a natural genesis, I think, and kind of makes me really happy that I get to do what I'm doing now from the law enforcement perspective. And as far as the public information aspect, and like I said before, you know, there's a symbiotic relationship that happens, and maybe, you know, in some areas it can be adversarial, and I think you and I just had so many conversations behind the scenes during events like Hurricane Matthew and all the hurricanes, and a lot of that goes toward the same mission, because journalists and public information officers have the same mission, which is getting the message out to the public so that they can make better decisions about their lives and they can have the information, because, you know, information is power.
Well, through those conversations, and I remember a lot of them,
yeah,
especially during Hurricane Matthew, Hurricane Irma, several other major incidents that we had, that it kind of woke us up to the importance of social media and addressing social media.
Oh yeah.
And getting our narrative out there before people in the public can get it wrong. They can make assumptions. So
sure.
It's so important to get our information out there fast and make sure it's accurate.
Yeah.
So I think we've improved considerably in addressing the public and social media. But in your new role, we're looking to impact more of the community that we may not be reaching. So how do we plan on doing that, and what are we looking for in the future to better address the needs of the community in receiving our information and making sure they know where to go in the event of a crisis?
So, I mean, first of all, the public information officer role in any government agency is so critical because it helps provide transparency and gives the public accountability to the government. So basically meaning that they can trust the decisions are being made in their best interest. There's not this sort of sense of secrecy or you know, that there's things going on behind the scenes that they don't know. So that information that we get out is very, very important and very much desired by the public. And I think we learned that in Hurricane Matthew because, like you said, there was an onslaught of, you know, realizing that information was getting out there regardless of whether we were ready to get it out there, right?
That's right.
So traditionally, you know, there would be a press conference, there would be press releases going out, and people would be waiting by their TV or their radio to get that information. But now, because everybody's a reporter in some sense, you know, everyone has a camera on their phone, everyone has a sort of an outlet and a platform, that information, it's just not easy to corral.
So moving forward, what are we going to do, or what are you going to do in this new role as the Assistant Public Information Officer to get the Sheriff's Office story out there, all the moving pieces of the Sheriff's Office, because we don't think the general public really understands how much is involved.
No.
And I think we need to do a better job of getting that
Sure.
information out.
Yeah, I mean, even covering the Sheriff's Office for as long as I didn't know the bulk of what deputies do on a daily basis and the true responsibility of the Sheriff's Office as a whole. So part of it will be getting that out to the public so that they better understand how the Sheriff's Office is working for them. And I would say, you know, another aspect of it is, you know, there's a national conversation happening right now, I think, about, you know, law enforcement and what can we do locally to help instill that trust, you know, to further that trust with the public. And that comes through the Public Information Office. So there are things that we can do in telling that story of deputies inside the building. There was a question that I got asked during my interview for the position, and it was, do you know what it's like to be a law enforcement officer? And that was an easy question to answer, obviously, because I don't. But so does the public doesn't either. And that's something that needs to come outside the building and into the public, to tell that story, to catch them doing the good things, to capture the bigger picture of the good things that deputies do on a daily basis. And
So again, welcome aboard, Liz, and we look forward to
thank you.
seeing that story being told. I mean,
I look forward
really
to telling it, for sure.
Excellent.
Yeah.
We'll be right back. Enjoy the commercial break with Eric Calendine, who is a staff sergeant assigned to criminal investigations, to talk about scams in Beaufort County.
Patrolman First Class Christian Anderson. I've been with the department for coming up on 3 years now. I'm assigned to Northern Enforcement Patrol for just answering normal road calls. We're looking for the vehicle matching a description that was just involved in an armed robbery. Collaterally assigned to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office dive team. We're primarily a search and recovery team. We go out and find evidence and stuff like that. If something's supposedly thrown in the water or anything along those lines, we'll go out and we'll find it. Dispatch L59, I'm on scene. My interest in law enforcement started at a very young age. I was about 14 years old when I found out the Sheriff's Office had an Explorer program. That's where my love of law enforcement started. Started doing ride-alongs at that age all the way up until I turned 21, where I was able to become an official deputy. I'm currently one of the advisors for the Explorer program. We have meetings twice a month, one at our northern office and one on the southern office on Hilton Head. Anyone from the age of 14 up to 20 can come and be a part of it if they're interested in becoming a part of law enforcement or just want to learn more about it. You can come out and do ride-alongs with us, learn what we do, just see what it's like. I really like coming out and interacting with the public. I enjoy conducting traffic enforcement. Dispatch L59 traffic stop. Getting drunk drivers off the streets. It's one of my big passions in law enforcement, along with getting illegal narcotics and illegal firearms off the streets. I love my community. I love where I live. I absolutely love who I work for and who I work with. It's some of the best group of people I've ever met. And I get to come out and do what I love every single day in a place that's beautiful and I love.
Welcome back to Lowcountry Law on Air. With us in the studio is Eric Calendine, who's going to be discussing scams and what you can do to avoid them. We would like to acknowledge these video productions that you're seeing during the commercial break. Those are produced by Stephanie French, who is a media specialist with the Sheriff's Office. Now, Eric, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm originally from Rochester, New York. Went to the University of Maryland, got a Bachelor of Arts in Criminology and Criminal Justice. Been down here working in the Sheriff's Office for 20 years, and I love the area, and that's what brought me down here. I have a wife and 2 kids, and we live in Bluffton.
So this is home.
This is home.
How many years you been here again?
20 years.
Wow. We're getting old.
Yes, sir.
So Eric, what are your specialties in criminal investigations? Because we're talking about scams, and they are pervasive.
Absolutely.
Throughout the United States, and certainly in Beaufort County.
Right.
If you have an email, you've seen a scam, at least an attempt.
Absolutely.
So tell us a little bit about what kind of scams we're seeing in Beaufort County.
In Beaufort County, the citizens, we're all targets. Every age group is a target. We get them every day. The phone calls, the emails, like you said, they're just rampant with different types of scams, and there's always a new one out there that hits, every year or monthly. Typically right now we're seeing scams, construction scams, with everyone being home and remodeling their homes.
What exactly are construction scams?
It's when you have some remodeler, a contractor come out to your house, and you maybe want to put an addition on or fix something, pipes, something to that effect, and you find somebody and you bring them into your home, and you need to do research on them. You want to vet them to make sure they are the right person for the job and they're not going to scam you.
And how could somebody vet whether a construction company has a license through the state or has a good reputation, for that matter? Just because you have a license doesn't mean you're going to be honorable and do the right thing.
We recommend that you obviously go to the South Carolina Department of Labor Licensing and Regulation. You can check to see if that contractor has a license and it's valid and it's active. We also recommend you get referrals. Try to find out, hey, where's this guy done work before? Were the other people satisfied with the work? We also recommend that you never pay everything up front. Make sure you get a contract, but make sure you don't pay all the money up front. Do it in segments, and then if the person starts asking for more and more money and not much work has been done, that's a red flag.
Right. So it would occur to me that a company that's reputable will have some reserves to start a job, and
Absolutely.
That's kind of good faith. Okay, well, I'll buy the materials, and it's a contract at that point,
right?
Rather than just a verbal agreement where somebody's coming back to you 5 times asking for more money when you're not seeing the result.
Correct.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
And we also recommend that throughout the process you stay on top of that person. If they start not showing up for work, make sure that you want to stay on top of it, because they're doing work in your home. It's your home.
And that's your privacy.
Right.
And limit their access to different areas of your home, right?
Correct.
Just to what they need.
Correct.
Okay, so tell us about these email scams, because you see this, and if anybody that has a spam folder, it's full of, overseas, lottery scams and all these things, asking for money up front to receive your lottery winnings or whatever that might be.
Right.
Tell us about that.
We're seeing a lot of recently the email scams, which they're what they call spoofing. You'll look like it's getting an email from Amazon saying, "Hey, did you order this laptop?" And they'll want you to call a phone number or click on this link type thing. These are spoofing emails where the imposter, as you say, the people who are hacking into your email want you to click on a link to give them access to your computer or call a phone number, so that way they can tell you, help the scam go further, and they're going to want you to either give them a bank account number where they can refund you your money, or they want you to go to a convenience store and get a prepaid card so they can put money back on that prepaid card. This is all type of a scam, and it's all based upon you think that email is from Amazon, it's from eBay, or it's from your bank or your cell phone company. So you just got to be very careful on the emails that come in. I challenge every one of them. When you email, is this legit? Why am I getting this? And if it's talking about, hey, your account's been compromised, click here, that's a hack. That's an email spoofing hack.
And that gives them access to all your private information, all your accounts, your social medias, and then you've been taken over, and that's a horrible situation.
Absolutely.
And we see that all the time.
Right.
Now, what can people do to protect themselves against scams? especially the email type scams, and who can they report that to besides local law enforcement, which would include the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office?
Right. You can go to the IC3 website, which is a website run by the FBI, and it's I, the letter C, and the number 3.gov, ic3.gov, and you can file a complaint and report on that website. You can also research what recent scams they want you to, as a trend they'll put out there. You can also go to the FTC website, which is the Federal Trade Commission website, ftc.gov, and that's also where you can file a report when it comes to like phone calls, people calling in, the phone scams type stuff.
So not only can they report this criminal activity or suspicious activity there, but they can learn ahead of time what scams are out there and what to be on the lookout for.
Yes.
So that's great resources. So
yes.
We'd encourage our residents to look up those sites and do some research on their own.
Correct.
And again, it's never too late to just call somebody if you have a question. They can always call the sheriff's office and say, hey, this doesn't seem right. If it makes you hesitate, it seems too good to be true, it usually is. So
that's right.
We highly recommend them calling us.
Absolutely.
So Eric, with all the internet out there now, and everything's online, what can people better do to protect themselves and their children from predators, let's say?
Okay. Just be vigilant in your social media footprint. What you're putting out there, what you're commenting on, what you're posting. You've got to be very careful of what you're putting out there and what people can see. We recommend never tell everybody, somebody, oh, I'm going on vacation this week, I'm so excited. Well, that's just opening an opportunity for somebody to go, well, they're not going to be home today or this next week. I'm going to, go to their house.
That's an excellent point right
So
there.
just be careful what you're posting out there, and also be careful of what people are pressuring you to do. Like if someone, you think is a friend of yours on a social media and says, hey, I need money, down on my luck, or that kind of stuff. We see that type of scam all the time where someone's social media has been taken over, and all of a sudden all these emails or texts go out, hey, can you help me out, go get a gift card, can you help me out with this? Just be very careful. Anytime that type of stuff starts to happen, call, try to get hold of that friend of yours or that family member. Hey, we got this text message saying you need money, everything okay? Don't just go off of what the email, the text, social media account might say. Always vet it.
Now, Facebook has billions of users, and we know that, and that's one of the most prevalent areas to get scammed. What can people do to better privatize their Facebook pages? I mean, I've seen where you can cut off the ability for somebody to add you as a friend, and you could just add who you actually know.
Right. And
vet those profiles before somebody infiltrates your Facebook. So how would somebody better privatize their Facebook page, for example?
There's settings in your Facebook account where you can do what you just said. You can make your settings private. You can do a dual-step authentication where not only do you have to put your passcode in, but sometimes you have to get a phone number or a text message to your phone to verify it's you. That way somebody can't hack into your social media profile. So those are two options I definitely recommend is, in your Facebook settings, go to that private and two-step authorization.
And let's talk about our favorite type of scam, the law enforcement impersonator.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Where they'll go to a website like the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office website or whatever police department and pull a name off of there and then spoof the number.
Right.
So you're getting a call and you're thinking it's going to be, this is law enforcement and I'm being basically extorted.
Sure.
And
yeah, they go on the website, they'll find a couple names of in the sheriff's office. They may even use your name, Major Bromage.
Shame on
this.
that.
This is Major Bromage, and you didn't show up for court, jury duty, and we have a warrant for your arrest. Where they're going to want you to go and get a prepaid card, go to the convenience store. They may stay on the phone with you saying, listen, if you don't do this now, the cops are coming. We're going to arrest you. You're going to go to jail. They're going to put your name in the paper being arrested for not coming to jury duty. And they're going to want you to get thousands of dollars on a prepaid card, which the local governments and the federal government does not take payment in prepaid cards.
That's right. That's right.
So it's a scam. But we see it time and time and again where people get caught up and think that they didn't pay a parking ticket, a speeding ticket, didn't pay their taxes, all this stuff that they get worried about, and they don't want to have that social stigmata in the sense of being arrested.
And what Sheriff P.J. Tanner wants our residents to know is we will never solicit funds in lieu of being arrested or any other type of penalty.
Right.
We will come to your door, or you will get official correspondence, and that includes the IRS. You know, you see these IRS scams. Tell us a little bit about that.
We're seeing the phone number spoofing, where it shows up on your phone as the IRS is calling you, and they're saying that you have back taxes, or your Social Security number has been attached to a federal drug investigation, and they're going to arrest you for these penalties, and you need to again get a Google prepaid card, an eBay card for these in the amounts that you need to pay their charges on. Again, the federal government, the IRS, does not take payment in Google Play or eBay cards.
They will come to your door,
Yes.
or you will get official correspondence in the mail.
Absolutely.
It won't be an email begging for funds or trying to negotiate this charge going away. This is not how the government works.
They're coming to your
People
door.
need to be aware of
Yes.
that. And time again, people do fall for that, because in their memory they're like, well, yeah, maybe I did have a ticket back then, and maybe I need to pay this off rather than go to jail. But again, we do not negotiate like that.
Yeah, we don't take payment like that.
Okay, what else, Eric? Can you tell us about these scams and how better, protect yourself, and, moving forward, what should people do?
They should be, obviously, don't give out your personal information. Anytime you receive a phone call, you get an email, anything that's asking you to provide date of birth, your street address, your mother's maiden name, like where they're trying to get information from you so they can use it to open an account or get into your accounts. So never give out personal information via any social media, obviously over the phone, through an email. That is all the stuff they're targeting to get your personal information.
And what about the romance scams, where not only are they stealing your money, they're stealing your heart too, which is,
Right.
It's sad to see that, but it is happening. Tell us about those.
We have lots of situations with romance scams where you have someone who's alone and lonely, and someone will call them on a phone and show them attention, and they get in this relationship of either through social media or through the phone, that they believe this person cares for them. They talk to them all the time, and they get a real bond. But then all of a sudden, there's that, I had my car broke down, I need money, or I got stuck overseas and I can't get back, or my business is failing, I need help. And they start just little bit by little bit asking for money. It'd be wire transfer, getting cash out, sending cash somewhere. We've even seen Bitcoin, where they have to go over to Savannah to put money into a Bitcoin machine. All for the matter of love, where they're prying on your heart.
And meanwhile, they're doing this to 3 or 4 or 10 or 15 other people.
Yeah, thousands
at the same time.
Right.
So the more bait they throw out there, the more they're going to get back.
And a lot of times they'll use another person as part of a suspect. So you have the romance of the lover, but you'll have this lawyer or business partner who will call you as well. Oh, I know so-and-so, I'm his business partner or his lawyer. That way they're just trying to make you feel that this person really exists, they need help, that kind of thing.
Eric, really appreciate your commitment to the Beaufort County Sheriff's Office and the citizens of Beaufort County. And we'll be right back with Liz Farrell again to close this episode out and talk about Halloween safety tips. See you in a minute.
Dispatch. Copy in Alpha disturbance in progress at 1100. My name is Emily Espinoza. I've been here at the Sheriff's Office for 1 year and 9 months. I'm a 911 dispatcher. 911, where is your emergency? I was in high school. I had a criminal justice teacher, and I've always been interested in law enforcement type stuff, but they told me I was too young to be an officer, so I thought of something alternate, and I've been liking it ever since, so I don't think I'll change my career now. Out of all the radios, my favorite to work is, I like EMS. I like helping people. Feel good helping my coworkers, because I know it's not always easy on language line, trying to get information from the Spanish-speaking callers. So I like that I can make the job a little bit easier, even if it's just 1 or 2 calls a day. 10 for India 15. I just like knowing that I'm helping the people around me and also helping the people that are having difficulties just because they don't speak English. I like knowing that I can help them because I speak Spanish and I can help them out as well. And everything is okay? Okay, I'll go ahead and cancel. It's okay, I'll go ahead and cancel. Have a good day.
Welcome back. We're back in the studio with Liz Farrell. We're going to wrap up tonight's episode with a conversation on Halloween safety tips from the Centers for Disease Control. Liz, what are your thoughts?
Well, first, I just want to say that was a good conversation with Staff Sergeant Calendine and a great example of why public information is so critical to this area. I think that'll help a lot of people to prevent scams from happening to them.
And as the Sheriff's Office grows, the need for additional information out there does as well.
Yeah, I think the threats are always changing out there, and yeah, you just help people have better lives.
All right, well, let's talk about what the Centers for Disease Control is recommending for Halloween this year.
Yeah.
And we know that from history that you are one of those people that will shut their lights off and hide in the house, and this should work out.
I will,
This
yeah,
should
so
work out.
I don't have to change a
right.
thing about Halloween this year, and I'm waiting for you to make a double mask joke, but
Right. Some of the recommendations for the Centers for Disease Control, or the CDC, who have been fantastic during the COVID-19 epidemic and getting information out to the public. Tips to make trick-or-treating safer. Avoid direct contact with trick-or-treaters. Give out treats outdoors if possible. Set up a station with individually bagged treats for kids to take. Wash hands before handling treats. And wear a mask.
wash your hands. Bring hand sanitizer with you and use it after touching objects or other people. Use hand sanitizer with at least 60% alcohol. Parents, supervise young children using hand sanitizer.
Stay at least 6 feet away from others who do not live with you. Indoors and outdoors, you are more likely to get or spread COVID-19 when you are in close contact with others for a long time. Remember to always wear a cloth mask. Indoors and outdoors, stay at least 6 feet away from others who do not live with you. Wash your hands or use hand sanitizer frequently. It may seem redundant to talk about hand sanitizer and distance, but that is what is preventing the spread of this virus in our community.
They really want you to wash your hands.
They really do. And wearing a mask, I mean, out there right now about whether masks are important, well,
Sure.
some protection's better than none.
Agreed.
And we're seeing less impact or effect of COVID-19 in our
Oh yeah,
community.
you can see it in the numbers for
so
sure.
it is encouraging.
Yeah.
So Liz, in closing tonight, again, welcome aboard.
Thank you.
We're excited to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
Sheriff P.J. Tanner, we identified a need for additional personnel in our public information because it's become more and more important that we get our message out to the community, especially in light of everything going on. I mean, you've got the national conversation about transparency, you've got COVID-19,
Yeah.
you've got criminal activity, you've got scams, so there's just so much. It's such a moving part of the Sheriff's Office, and we're looking forward to you telling the story of what services the Sheriff's Office provides
Sure.
as a whole to the community.
Absolutely. I think that connection to the community is so important, and it starts with public information.
Well, again, on behalf of Sheriff P.J. Tanner and the men and women of the Sheriff's Office, we hope everybody in our community is healthy and safe, and our thoughts and prayers go out to those who have been deeply affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. We look forward to seeing you next time on another episode of Lowcountry Law. Be healthy and safe.